Hey guys, Tim here, Big Dog Forge. Welcome back. This time around, we are going to go against the norm. We're going to break convention. We're going to, yes, dare I say it, question the popular paradigm. Society will never be the same, I dare say. So what are we going to do? We're going to build some Damascus. And in building that Damascus, we're going to do things a little differently. When you make cable Damascus, you do not take the cable all the way apart, clean each strand, put it back together, and weld it. When you make jelly roll Damascus, you roll it up in heats many, many times, creating scale on the inner surface, and then you weld that together, not clean. Some people use oil in the form of diesel or kerosene to soak their Damascus in before they weld it. But yet you're told never to get oil or fingerprints on your Damascus. It won't weld. These are contradictions. We're going to test those today and see how this comes out. So anyway, let's jump in, get started. Enough chit chat, and let's build some Damascus. Alright guys, stick with me. This one should be fun. We'll see you at the other end. Okay guys, metal cutting bandsaw blades on the right, wood bandsaw blade on the left, and we're going to put this billet together and weld it up. The only part of this that we're going to clean is we're going to wipe off the dust and the spider bodies, things like that are on these things. They've been sitting in a bucket here in the shop for 6 months, and we're going to weld this up as is. We're going to see how this goes and test the theory about cleaning your metal before you weld up a Damascus billet or pattern welded steel if you prefer. Alright, we're going to get the bottom of these lined up as best possible. When we weld this together, at least we'll have one side that's in nice flat condition. There we go. And we're just going to use a MIG welder. I'm not going to worry about getting the ends all nice and flat and straight. We're not going to spend a whole lot of time on the ceremony of making Damascus. We're going down and dirty, real dirty. These things have mill scale on them. You saw the rust spots, and the only thing we did was wipe off the dust. There we go. We're 12 inches long, 2 inches wide by 1.5 wide. We're going to get these into the forge, let them warm up a little bit, get some flux on it. So it's going to pretty much be a regular old Damascus build. The only thing we've parted from here is the excessive cleaning in the beginning. And I did not wipe any fingerprints off or take acetone to it or anything like that. Dirty steel out of a bucket, welded together, and our first weld here under Scrappy the Power Hammer seemed to go really well. It felt very solid. These things can be deceiving when you're welding them though. You can get a long ways into these and not see a crack or a delamination until much, much later. So we'll see how this goes. We set our second weld here, and then we're going to cut it in the center. We're going to fold this thing hot, weld it, and scrub it up real good, get some flux on that surface we're going to weld together. Get it folded, and we'll hammer it flat to make sure that that gap between the two halves is closed up as best we can. A little more flux on the outside, on either side, and back into the forge. Back up to temperature, and again back under Scrappy here. And we continued to weld this thing and kept it at welding temperature as we brought it down to a square billet. And what we're going to do is we're going to take the square and we're going to re-square it on the diagonal, sort of like making crushed W's. But we're not going to fold it again. We'll simply make the sort of half crushed W's, and then we'll take it over and do a twist on it from there. It's always been something very satisfying about watching this process to me. I didn't move it too fast or too cold. So I stuck with pretty much my normal rules of making Damascus, except the cleaning. We'll see how this goes. Alright, now we're going to start making those crushed W's by squaring this back up again on the diagonal. Now we had one half of this billet that was a little uneven because I did not grind off the teeth of those bandsaw blades. And it seems to be crushing down a little bit oddly, but I think it'll be okay. We have plenty of material to work with here. We'll get this guy into the vise and start twisting it. And now this bar is 1.5 inch square, so it's not twisting super easy, and I just broke the bench there. So we stopped and repaired the bench, got it back into the forge, and we did this 4 or 5 times to get enough twists on there that I was comfortable with. So these are all the twists that we put onto this thing, and it still wasn't real tight the way I would have liked it, but it was enough, especially for our little tests that we're doing here. Alright, so whenever you twist a square, you end up with those ridges running down the bar, and what we're going to do is forge those back into the bar. Now we've got a 1.5 inch kiss block in there. We're going to square it off, and then we'll go to the corners and make it an 8-sided thing. And this should be a 1.5 inch 8-sided thing as we're forging these ridges back down. Now those ridges are going to leave some cold shuts, some surface cracks in this thing, so we've got a solution for that a little bit later. And we'll try to take as many lumps out of it as we can. Over to Scrappy, and we're going to round it up as best we can, and we'll straighten it on the anvil by hand because it's got some warps in it, and we want it as straight as possible. And we forged this thing down to just a little under 1.5 inches. It ended up being about 1 3/8 inches, I believe. And we're going to cut the end off of this and grind some of the scale off and see how it looks. And what I'm going to do is take half of this bar once I get this scale off here, because the scale is very tough stuff and it'll wear tools out pretty quickly. We're going to chuck this up in the lathe and we're going to spin that end down. And we're going to take it down to about 1.25 inches. So we've taken about 3/16 off this thing, 1/8 inch, 3/16. So I did not have a live center for this, so I found the center on the end of the bar, drilled a little hole, and just put a guide in there, a little oil on it, and it worked just fine. Kept it fairly straight. And this was actually the last pass. I showed you one of the first passes and then the last pass to get it down to just about 1.25 inches. Not too much chatter. And to get the lines out of it, I took a soft floppy disk while it was spinning and just took the cutter lines out of the surface of it for the most part. There were a few left in there. A little sandpaper. There we go. All right, we're going to get this into the vise, and we're going to cut it a little bit more than half, and then we're going to take a slice off the end, and that slice is going to be a test slice to see if we've got any cracks, what it looks like, if we need to do anything else to it. And this should tell a pretty good tale here. So we clean that thing up on the sander, and you can see that we have a little crack in the surface. Comes down into it a little ways there, but really doesn't tell a full story. So we're going to put it in ferric chloride, clean it up a little bit. Got some pretty cool patterns in it. We're going to let that sit for about a day. And now what we're going to do is we're going to break it in half, and it should break wherever there is a crack. And we'll see what this looks like. So you can see on the side there, that dark area, that's where it had a surface crack. The rest of it seems to be in pretty good shape. And that surface crack, and it's about 1/8 of an inch deep, but we have room here. So we took it back to the lathe, and we spun it up again, and we took just about that much material out of the bar. So it's just as a comparison here. There's a cross section, and this is about how much we took out to get rid of that crack. And there may be a little surface crack left in there. Shouldn't be, but there might be, but it's not enough to really bother anything. The individual who's getting this is a jeweler. She's going to be making some rings out of it. And there you go. That's what she looks like out of the ferric chloride. Pretty nice little pattern. All right, guys. Let's wrap this up. All right, guys, there you go. So we came out with an awesome bar of Damascus. Really cool. We had to take it down a little further. I believe it was a cold shut in the outside where we did the half W's or the crush W thing. And yeah, so anyway, it worked out really well, and we didn't clean our metal. So what'll they say about us now? Anyway, guys, take it for what it is. Maybe I got lucky. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe it's all just a hoax to get you to buy abrasives to clean your metal. I don't know. It is what it is. Take it for what it's worth. Let me know what you think. All right, guys. So thanks for dropping by Big Dog Forge. Really do appreciate it. Thanks to all of the patrons out there. You guys rock. Thanks to the subscribers. Really appreciate you guys. And if you haven't thought about it, hit the like, share, subscribe, and I would appreciate it. Anyways, take care, guys. We'll see you soon. Be safe. Bye-bye now.